We're located on the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. Today is Tuesday, December the 5th, and your radio hosts today are
Linda L. Miller
and Tina Beatty, and we will be reading the news for today's edition of the Fayetteville Observer, and Linda has the weather.
Good morning.
Pretty. That's what the weather is.
It is. It really is. Some sun, then clouds, and a little warmer today, 74 degrees. Tonight, cloudy and mild. Rain late, 56 degrees. Wednesday, we have cloudy and cooler, 58 degrees. Thursday, looks like it's going down. Cloudy with a little rain, 53 degrees. Then we're looking at Friday. Cooler with occasional rain, 47 degrees.
Oh my.
And Saturday, it's 47 degrees. A morning shower, rather cloudy. Then Sunday, mostly sunny, 48 degrees. And back on Monday, 56 degrees, partly sunny.
Well, it is that time of the year, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, today in history. Today is Tuesday, December the 5th. There are 300 excuse me, get it right, Tina. It's the 339th day of 2017. There aren't really that many days left. Actually, there's only 26 days left in the year. Today's highlight. On December the 5th, 1952, the Great Smog of London descended on the British capital. The unusually thick fog, which contained toxic pollutants, lasted 5 days and was blamed for causing thousands of deaths. Just a word aside for that, we had fog and smog when I was a girl and lived in England, and it's caused, at the time, almost all of us burned coal in our fireplaces to keep us warm, so that was the cause of a lot of it. In 1782, the 8th President of the United States, Martin Van Buren, was born in Kinderhook, New York. He was the first chief executive to be born after American independence. In 1791, composer Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart died in Vienna, Austria, at age 35. In 1792, George Washington was re-elected president. John Adams was re-elected vice president. In 1933, national prohibition came to an end as Utah became the 36th state to ratify the 21st Amendment to the Constitution, which repealed the 18th Amendment. In 1945, 5 U.S. Navy torpedo bombers mysteriously disappeared after taking off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida on a training mission, with the loss of all 14 crew members. The lost squadron contributed to the legend of the Bermuda Triangle. In 1988, a federal grand jury in North Carolina indicted PTL founder Jim Baker and former aide Richard Dortch on fraud and conspiracy charges. Baker was convicted on all counts. Dortch pleaded guilty to 4 counts and cooperated with prosecutors in exchange for a lighter sentence. Baker was initially sentenced to 45 years in prison. The term was eventually reduced to 8 years, and he served a total of about 5. In 2013, Nelson Mandela, the anti-apartheid leader who became South Africa's first black president, died at age 95. And I'm checking for birthdays, because next is the birthday column. And yes, we do have a birthday person. Happy birthday, Virginia Shear. And the birthday column goes with that is singer Little Richard is 85. Author Joan Didion is 83. Author Calvin Trillin is 82. Opera singer Jose Carreras is 71. Pop singer Jim Messina is 70. Football great Jim Plunkett is 70. World Golf Hall of Famer Lanny Watkins is 68. Actress Morgan Brittany is 66. Football great Art Monk is 60. Country singer Ty England is 54. Comedian actress Margaret Cho is 49. Rock musician Regina Zernay from Cowboy Mouth is 45. Actress Paula Patton is 42. Actor Aidan Canto is 36. R&B singer Kerry Hilson is 35. Actor Gabriel Luna is 35. Actor Frankie Muniz is 32. And actor Ross Bagley is 29. And our listener Virginia Shear, we don't know your birthday, dear, but happy birthday anyway.
It's wonderful to see another year,
isn't it?
Daybreak, need to know. Grays Creek FFA Greenery Sale. The Grays Creek FFA Annual Greenery Sale continues Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 5:15 p.m. Stop by the greenhouses at 5301 Celebration Drive in Hope Mills to select plain or decorative fresh Fraser fern wreaths, swags, baskets, or centerpieces. Bulk orders are available. For more information, contact April Pittman at 424-8589 or April Pittman at ccs.k12.nc.us. Back the Blue Night. The Fayetteville Police Foundation is sponsoring its second annual Back the Blue event Thursday night. Participating area restaurants will donate 10% of sales from 5 to 9 p.m. to the foundation. Look for the blue lights and eat out that evening to support the organization behind the badge. For more information, contact Sidney McCormick at 433-1746. That's Cindy McCormick at 433-1746. Rooster's Wife at the Cameo. Once a month, the Rooster's Wife of Aberdeen brings a show to Fayetteville. Anthony DaCosta and Kimber Lucre perform Thursday at Cameo Art House Theater, 225 Hayes Street. Advance tickets are $15. Available at etickets.com. The show begins at 7:30 p.m. Doors open at 7. For more information, visit cameoarthouse.com or call 486-6633. Blanket Drive. The Awakening Movement Ministry Incorporation is sponsoring the Cover Me campaign through December 19th. The ministry is collecting new and gently used blankets and clothing for the homeless and needy families. The goal is to collect 1,000 blankets. It is looking for people to donate and for agencies, businesses, and churches to be drop-off locations. For more information, call 849-1330. That's 849-1330, or go to hopedreamliveagain.com. We want to hear from you. Please submit your events in writing at least 10 days in advance. Email calendar at fayettevilleobserver.com or fax details to 486-3545. For questions, call 486-3500.
Okay, here's a question for Livewire today. Just one question this week. What is the pH level of Spring Lake's tap water? I'm in Cumberland County, but use water from Spring Lake, and that's signed MG. Here's the answer. The pH level in the town's water is generally neutral, meaning that it's neither acidic nor alkaline, according to Tim Garner, Spring Lake's Water Resources Director. The town tests the level daily with it usually reading between 7 and 7.4, he said. The U.S. Geological Survey says a level of 7 is neutral. Excessively high pH levels can be detrimental, the agency says on its website. High pH causes a bitter taste, water pipes and water-using appliances become encrusted with deposits, and it depresses the effectiveness of the disinfection of chlorine, thereby causing the need for additional chlorine when pH is high, the site says. Low pH water will corrode or dissolve metals and other substances. Garner said the pH level is checked as part of maximum residual time tests, which are required by the state. The tests are done 5 times a week in 5 different places around town. The tests also include checking for chlorine and ammonia, Garner said. Spring Lake, which has about 4,400 water connection, gets its water from Fayetteville's Public Works Commission and Harnett County.
I'm excited about this article.
Oh, what is it? I didn't get to look at the paper very much this morning.
Well, it's about the inauguration. We had a wonderful time.
Oh, did
last
you?
Night.
Oh,
yes. Diversity is a strength. Mayor Mitch Colvin promises beginning of new era for city. It's the start of a new era, Mitch Colvin promised the audience at the Fayetteville City Council inauguration ceremony Monday night. The days of Fayetteville are coming to an end, Colvin said. Colvin promised this and more as he outlined the policies he hopes will turn Fayetteville into a destination for millennials and others during his opening address. Around 1,000 people attended the swearing-in ceremony for Colvin and the 9 other city council members at the J.W. Seabrook Auditorium at Fayetteville State University. City spokesman Nathan Walls said the turnout was among the largest ever for a city council swearing-in ceremony. Colvin, the 53rd mayor of modern times and the 2nd black mayor for the city, emphasized the importance of collaborating with others in his speech. Diversity is a strength, not a weakness, Colvin said. Colvin promised to bring the creation of a joint 911 center with the county back to the table. For years, leaders have tried and failed to create such a center to drive down costs and increase efficiency. Earlier this year, a project proposal looked promising, but city and county leaders argued over who would run the project. After the county gave control to the city rejected the planned funding agreement. On November 14th, Cumberland County Commissioner Chairman Glenn Adams sent a letter to Mayor Nat Robertson declaring that the county was withdrawing itself from deliberation of the project. The winds of change have blown open the windows of opportunity, Colvin said. He also proposed working with the county government, county school system, and Fort Bragg to make sure the city has an educated workforce that can attract high-paying jobs. Colvin also brought back a proposal for a general bond he first mentioned during the campaign to help speed up infrastructure improvements. The end of his speech was met with a standing ovation. The City Council's one item of business was voting in a mayor pro tem, considered a political promotion by many. The position includes running council meetings and attending functions that the mayor cannot attend. The council unanimously voted Ted Moyen to be the mayor pro tem. Moyen just won his 3rd consecutive 2-year term for District 8. I'm excited for the new team, Moyen said. I believe everyone's heart is in it. We are going to try to come up with as many positive outcomes as possible. The other 8 city council members gave speeches after being sworn in by various judicial and elected officials. Kathy Jensen, who has represented District 1 since 2013, thanked her family, friends, and Northside roots for her victory. She moved to the Kenwood subdivision at 6 months old. Her district encompasses the northern portion of the city including King Grant, Kenwood, and other neighborhoods in the Ramsey Street area. For those of you who know me or have spoken to me, you know I am very proud of my Greek heritage and the values that I've learned from that heritage. And being a Northside kid, Judson said. Tyrone Williams, a new council member who will represent District 2, thanked residents for voting him into office and said he will work hard to improve the situation while in office. It is our responsibility to put systems in place that will provide better jobs, better education, and training for a better quality of life, Williams said. New District 3 City Councilwoman Tisha Waddell asked all the District 3 residents in attendance to stand. It's all about us. It's not about me, Waddell said to those standing. DJ Hare was met with a warm welcome from the crowd. Previously on the council, for 16 years, the District 4 representative had to take a break because of health issues and was re-elected this year. I truly believe God destined me and put me here today, Hare said. Johnny Dawkins, who will be representing District 5, also was sworn in after taking some time off from City Council. He encouraged residents to get in touch with him. When you need me, please call, text, tweet, email, or send me a message on Facebook, Dawkins said. Bill Crisp, who was just elected to his 6th term as a District 6 representative, announced that this will be his last term. He promised that he would stay alert to the needs of the residents. I will continue to fight like a junkyard dog. If I think that what that dog is going to do is to the detriment of this city, the 77-year-old councilman said. He also congratulated the new mayor. 4 years ago, I had a protege, Mitch Colvin, Chris said. I think I did a good job. Larry Wright, who won his 3rd term representing District 7, gave gratitude to God. I first want to say thank God in the name of Lord and Savior Jesus Christ that helped me to get to this point, Wright said. Jim Arp, who ran unopposed for his District 9 position, compared the new council to a football player who will look to residents for the best plays going forward. Mitch Colvin is the quarterback, Arp said. After the ceremony, a reception was held in the auditorium foyer. The entire event, including auditorium rental, cost taxpayers a little more than $7,300. The cost drew criticism from the public and some members of the council. I am a little resistant, Councilman Jim Arp told Colvin during the most recent council meeting, on spending taxpayer money on a celebration like this. On Friday, Colvin announced that he will seek private donations to help pay for the ceremony and will create a committee to raise private funds to pay for future swearing-in celebrations. We did enjoy and have a good time as the community participated. The people of Fayetteville deserve the opportunity to celebrate our democracy without having this celebration become a political distraction when the city is facing other big issues. Colvin said in a statement released by the city, by using private donations and forming this inauguration committee, we establish a process by which future generations will celebrate the transition of their city government in a responsible and positive way. I think this council and mayor, they're gonna be better than the 18.
Well, that's good. I hope they do a wonderful job. It's always nice to have a change. It's a good idea. Okay, public safety. Cumberland County arrests Devon Malik Owens, 21, of the 2700 block of Custer Avenue was charged Monday with robbery with a dangerous weapon. Bail was set at $150,000. Alvarez Raymond Malone, 35, of the 6700 block of Woodbridge Way, was charged Monday with breaking and entering a motor vehicle, larceny, possessing stolen property, larceny of a firearm, and possession of a stolen firearm. Bail was set at $10,000. Christopher Dwayne Utsi, 35, of the 5500 block of Coppell Court in Hope Mills, was charged Monday with forgery and transaction card fraud. His bail was set at $3,000. Under the break-in heading, on Crinoline Lane, reported at 10:42 a.m. Monday, pistols, knives, BB gun and safe taken. Hope Mills, Canadian Avenue, reported at 2:43 p.m. Sunday, air conditioner unit with heat pump taken. Oh dear. Stedman Front Street, reported at 11:29 a.m. Sunday, sound system, microphones, speaker stands, keyboard and musical instruments taken. And under robbery, Johnson Road, reported at 7:31 p.m. Sunday, a purse taken. And here's a small one about grants. 2 airports in the Fayetteville-Fort Bragg region are getting grants for repairs and upgrades, the North Carolina Department of Transportation said last week. Curtis L. Brown Field in Elizabethtown was awarded $126,000 for site work for a new terminal building and $35,000 for paving at the terminal parking area. The Laurinburg-Maxton Airport was awarded $275,000 for replacement of the instrument landing system localizer. Those are 2 of 11 airports statewide that are receiving a total of $47 million in grants, the transportation agency said in a news release. These grants will show airports to become safer and better serve the pilots, passengers and businesses that use them, Division of Aviation Director Bobby Walston said in the release.
Okay. New council should keep foot on gas. This is by Myron Pitts. The new edition of the Fayetteville City Council was sworn in Monday night in a ceremony at Seabrook Auditorium on the campus of Fayetteville State University. I hope the council keeps in mind the charge given to them by Bobby Hurst, an outgoing member from District 5, who chose not to run. He said at his final meeting, "To the new council, I challenge you to be visionaries and look at the big picture on what policies and best practices will make Fayetteville appealing as a home for families, a wonderful destination for travelers, and a superb location for new business and industry." Hearst is among 4 strong members the council will be losing from an overall winning team. They are Kurt Deviere, District 2, Chalmers, Chet McDougal, District 4, Mayor Nat Robinson, and Hearst. This is no reflection on any of their challengers. Robinson lost to fellow council member Mitch Colvin. I always welcome new ideas and approaches. Deviere, who ran unsuccessfully for mayor, has one of the sharper minds for the policy details I've seen. He believes in bringing everyone to the table. McDougal is one of my favorite kind of hoes. He tells it like it is. He grasps and can explain why making the city an attractive place to live, work, and play is the principle for growth. He was a leader in advocating more diversity in the city's fire service, something we've seen Chief Ben Major take steps to address. Robertson, in a recent interview, rightly gave the council, under his 4-year tenure, a pat on the back for a steep drop in crime numbers and $100 million in economic development. Hers is part of a group of physical-minded folks on the council who could be what I call thrifty at the right time. Not too cheap to support investment, but will vote in smart ways to save money, such as capping the price of the baseball stadium. Hers, who is conservative, was a key yes vote in the 6-4 vote in 2014 that raised taxes to expand the police department. The crime drop has been attributed to that move. The new city council has been handed a gravy train with biscuit wheels, as my dad would say. Not in the sense that they're flush with cash, few city governments are, but in the sense that there are a lot of good public and private projects underway. The goal here is not to mess it up. Now is not the time to press the brakes, but put the foot on the gas. Among things the council can build on: continued support of the Fayetteville Police Department, which has not seemed to miss a beat in its transition from the seminal tenure of Chief Harold Medlock to Chief Jenna Hawkins, with a big assist from former interim Chief Anthony Kelly in between. Continued good stewardship of the baseball stadium and Prince Charles Hotel site project downtown, which will transform Hayes Street. Continued good stewardship of the multi-million-dollar parks bond, which this community has entrusted the city leaders with. Challenges include addressing poverty and homelessness and spreading the logical economic growth and development of downtown to other parts of the city. There still are major decisions to be made on parks, including the final location of a mega recreation facility that is hoped will be a regional draw for sports tournaments. Recent debates over council members getting cell phones, which staff think will help it conform to open meetings laws, but which some oppose on cost, and a few $1,000s spent on Monday swearing in, had me mildly worried this new council might be ready to embark on small ball politics. We don't need that. It consumed councils in the past. At least when it comes, the cost of swearing in, COVID's solution of soliciting private funds to the pay for the inauguration appears to satisfy members, at least going forward. I think that's the better approach, Jim Mark told me Monday. There's lots of important work for the council to be about, and lots of good things to keep going in the right direction. Keep the foot on the gas.
Okay. Here's an interesting, I'm looking at the time to see if we should do station ID first. Probably wouldn't hurt. Not much time. This is the Southeastern North Carolina radio reading service, a United Way partner agency. We broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC in Chapel Hill. As a non-profit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. When making charitable donations, please keep the SENCRRS in mind. Our P.O. Box number is 35029, and that's Fayetteville 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call us at 910-672-1600 or our toll-free number 1-844-709-5656. And your radio hosts are
Linda L. Miller
and Tina Beatty, and we are proud to serve you today. Let's see.
New County Chairman wants action on
Go
Gen
ahead.
X.
Yeah, good.
Larry Lancaster chosen to lead commissioners. Jeanette Council elected vice chairwoman. The new chairman of the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners says he wants the county to deal with water problems faced by residents who have wells that have elevated levels of a potentially harmful chemical. Commissioners unanimously selected Larry Lancaster as chairman Monday, and Commissioner Jeanette Council was unanimously elected vice chairwoman. Lancaster said one of his main concerns is Gen X and its impact on residents who live near North Carolina 87 in the southern part of the county. That's the thing I see as the most pressing, he said. Gen X, which is made by the Chemours plant in Bladen County near the Cumberland County line, has been linked to several forms of cancer in animal studies. It's not known if those effects are the same in humans. The state started investigating Gen X in June after news broke that researchers had discovered the compound in the Cape Fear River last year. Elevated levels of the chemical also have been detected in private wells around the plant and in 2 lakes and a creek in the area. Lancaster said he wants the county to work with state officials. It's very serious, he said. I want us to hit the ground running. Lancaster said everyone should have access to clean water. He said students should not have to drink bottled water at their schools. It's unthinkable, he said. The county school system has been providing bottled water to students at Grays Creek and Alderman Elementary schools since traces of Gen X were found in a well that provides water to Grays Creek. The schools are about 4 miles from the Chemours plant. Lancaster said he also wants the county to focus on economic development and public safety. He said the commissioners will meet early next year to talk about goals and priorities. Lancaster took the commissioner's gavel from Glenn Adams, who has served as chairman for the past year. Adams talked about Gen X before the commissioners elected a new chairman. He said the issue has accelerated discussions with the Fayetteville Public Works Commission about possibly running water lines to the area. We will take care of those citizens in Grays Creek and near that plant, he said. Adams also discussed the county's accomplishments over the past year. He mentioned the appointment of Sheriff Ennis Wright, dealing with a budget shortfall, attracting new jobs and investment, and other projects. I am proud to have served as chairman, he said. I'm proud to have served the citizens. Adams thanked Commissioner Charles Evans for his work as vice chairman. Evans, who decided not to seek the role of chairman, said he was honored to serve as vice chair.
Okay, this is an interesting article. It's about security in churches. You know, at one time we wouldn't have thought we needed that, but we found out differently. Okay, imagine the serenity of a Sunday morning worship service interrupted by gunfire as congregants run in all directions or fall to the ground wounded or dead. It's not a scenario that any pastor or congregation member expects to happen, but it does. It's something that every church needs to prepare for by establishing security steps, evacuation routes, and ensuring the safety of everyone in the building. That's what Sergeant Chris Taylor of the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office told more than 60 clergy and church members who attended training sessions with preparing to deal with an active shooter at church. Churches, unfortunately, are a soft target, Sheriff Ennis Wright said at the opening of the program, but steps can be taken to help prevent worshippers in the event of such an incident, he said. Churches should set up security teams to look at all aspects of a safety plan, include members who are law enforcement officers, private security guards, firefighters, or paramedics. Do not overlook the facility maintenance person. Who knows a facility better than the person who maintains it, Taylor said. Simon Temple AME Zion Church on Yadkin Road has a large security team, he said. They have security like you wouldn't believe, Taylor said. That includes having a secure location to count the offering, an off-duty law enforcement officer to escort a member to the bank to deposit the money, parking lot patrols, and surveillance cameras. Plan evacuation routes and take into account the needs of church members. If you have to evacuate How many elderly people are there? People in wheelchairs or walkers, Taylor said. Whatever plan is chosen, he said, practice it repeatedly. There are church members who have permits to carry concealed weapons, but it's up to the governing body, which is well, I've lost her. She was there somewhere anyway. Before implementing a firearms policy, he said church leaders should consult with a lawyer to discuss liabilities. There's no way to spot an active shooter, but there are some things to look for, Taylor said. It may be someone who's going through domestic issues, including a divorce or child custody battle, is suicidal, has lost a job or pension money. Look for things out of the ordinary, such as a married woman who has been attending church for several years but has never been accompanied by her husband. If the husband suddenly shows up, that could be a sign, Taylor said. This is the second seminar a representative of our church has been to, said the Reverend Jeffrey D. Scholar of Cedar Falls Baptist Church on Ramsey Street. We've had a lot of folks in our church ask about the security plan. The Reverend Kenneth M. Jenkins said an active shooter is not something in the forefront of my mind. But it's been on the mind of his congregation at First Missionary Baptist Church in Parkton. It's been a topic for members because it's in the news, Jenkins said.
That's something. Used to be church used to be a sanctuary.
Oh, absolutely. It was somewhere you could go and have sanctuary, and the doors weren't locked, so you could go in and feel safe. What's the complete opposite?
It is. Sign of the times. Contractor gets 5 years for fraud. A federal judge sentenced a Fayetteville-based defense contractor to 5 years in prison Friday for defrauding the federal government more than $15 million.
Oh, my word!
According to a press release from the Department of Justice. From 2004 until 2014, Philip A. Meering, 48, sent fraudulent payments from his company, Global Services Corporation, to co-conspirator Kenneth Bricker's two straw companies, BPM and Tempo, for services never performed by either company.
My goodness.
With Smearing's consent, Bricker kept 5% of the payments, sending the rest directly to Smearing or one of his companies. A hearing to determine forfeiture and restitution will be held December 12th. In a separate case, Smearing and two others defrauded the government of $1.8 million. Global Services Corporation was founded in 1997 to provide information technology services to the military.
Restitution, huh? How do you go about repaying all that?
All that money.
Okay, here is the newspaper's opinion today by one of the newspaper editors. Writes an opinion every day, and this is the Observer's editorial. I-95 takes the super out of superhighway. Whether it's for business or pleasure, Interstate 95 is a big part of travel plans for many of us in this region. The most heavily driven north-south route on the East Coast and one of the most heavily traveled highways in the United States, I-95 has earned its nickname America's Main Street. Whether we're taking a short hop up to Dunn or down to Lumberton, or a longer trek up to Washington or down to Florida, I-95 is generally part of our route, and what we see and feel on the trip isn't always pleasant. It's one of the earliest legs of the nation's interstate highway system, and it looks it. Congestion is the norm in many areas. So are maintenance problems and badly deteriorating roadbeds. It's not just here in North Carolina. As a Wall Street Journal story documented it last week, I-95 from northern Maine to Miami is a mess. The road is falling apart in many places, and states are slow to make repairs. It badly needs additional lanes, seeing some of the worst congestion and accident rates in the country. In South Carolina, we see the trade-off in setting the lowest gasoline taxes in the nation. Like most other states, that tax revenue is what the state uses to repair and update its roads, and I-95 is the poster child for the state's diminished highway funds. But we don't need to travel across our own border to see the problem. It's right here in Robeson, Cumberland, and Harnett counties, where the road is often clogged with traffic. It needs at least 3 lanes in each direction, but mostly only has 2. Frequent repair operations often reduce that to 1, and overnight detours off the road aren't uncommon. The state will soon embark on some long-needed improvements on the Harnett County section of the highway, lengthening 2 short exit and on-ramps and raising the height of some 2 low bridges, but that's not nearly enough. The state proposed expanding the highway a few years ago. Transportation officials envisioned adding lanes, rebuilding existing lanes, and bringing the road up to 21st century safety speculations. But its plan to finance the work with tolls brought a massive protest that fully caught the attention of the state's politicians. The reaction to the appearance of toll booths, or the modern equivalent in which vehicles don't need to stop, was almost violent. Business owners along the highway and those who regularly use the roads were adamantly opposed to tolls. Regular commuters joined the protest too. So the expansion plan was shelved and appears to be dead. To date, no one has proposed an alternative, and that's the problem. There really aren't many good alternatives. Even without projects like the I-95 revamp, the state isn't generating the money it needs in its highway funds. Lawmakers have capped the fuel tax, and collections were already in decline because of the steady improvement in average fuel economy of the nation's automotive fleet. For some of the same reasons, the Federal Highway Trust Fund is running a deficit. At present rate, that fund is expected to be insolvent by 2021. A large road building bond issue may be the route to funding projects like I-95. But that would take considerable political willpower, which may be lacking these days in Raleigh. So for now, we expect the state to continue with its current practices and make the most urgent repair and procrastinate on the rest. It's not an effective strategy, and it will cost us plenty in the long run. We can take some comfort in knowing we're in good company, that most of the other states along I-95 can't keep up with the highway and the highway needs. But that's little comfort as we bounce through the potholes and sit in congested traffic, wondering whatever happened to the super in Superhighway.
Suspect sought in 4 armed robberies. A reward of up to $1,000 is offered to anyone who helps police capture the man who robbed a Metro PCS cellular phone store on Owen Drive on Sunday, and who police believe committed 3 other robberies since November 28th. Tips can be submitted anonymously to the local Crime Stoppers program. Accordingly, an incident report with the Fayetteville Police Department about 4:34 p.m. on Sunday. A robber armed with a gun stole $500 and an iPhone 8 plus cell phone from the Metro PCS store in the Crown Square Shopping Center at 2956 Owen Drive. Photos of the robber are on the police department's Facebook page and on the Fayetteville Cumberland County Crime Stoppers Facebook page. The robber was described as a white man, possibly Hispanic, a news release says. approximately 5'10" to 6 feet tall, wearing a dark colored hoodie and blue jeans. Fayetteville Police Sergeant Sean Strapey told WFNC Radio on Monday he was wearing tan work boots. Surveillance photos show that the robber wore something red under his hoodie. It's not clear in the photos whether it is a shirt or a bandana. He also wore a ski mask that covered the lower part of his face, leaving his nose, eyes, and forehead visible. In other robberies, the robber wore white-framed sunglasses and black-framed other sunglasses. Police believe this man committed 3 other robberies, a news release says. About 9:42 p.m. Saturday at the CVS pharmacy at 3026 Bragg Boulevard. Approximately 3:26 p.m. Friday at the textbook broker store at 2904 Fort Bragg Road. About 5:15 p.m. Tuesday at another Metro PCS store, this one in the JK Plaza Shopping Center on Cliffdale Road at Rim Road. Anyone with information about the robber is asked to call Sergeant M. Ballard with the Fayetteville Police Department at 549-1054. Anonymous tips may be submitted to Crime Stop at 866-542-8477 by phone and online at fay-nc-crimestoppers.org.
Excuse me. Here's another editorial. This is an op-ed piece by E.J. Dillon, and he's a Washington Post columnist. It's called Government by the Reckless for the Few. Students often leave term papers to the last minute. Repair folks frequently arrive at the far end of the time they promised, and some basketball players don't turn it on till the 4th quarter. But the stakes in all these close shaves were relatively low. Not so with Republicans in Congress. They are reordering large parts of the American economy on the fly with little forethought and virtually no debate. When Congress did truly big things in the past, the Affordable Care Act, the major tax cuts of the Ronald Reagan and George Bush eras, the tax increases under Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, there was serious discussion over an extended time. Scoot up here a bit. Debate and careful negotiation over trade-offs in a genuinely bipartisan context was at the heart of the success of the last comprehensive tax reform in 1986. By contrast, the GOP's extravaganza this year is entirely partisan, full of breaks for favored interests and punishments for those the party regards as its political enemies. Moreover, this tax monstrosity is so filled with gimmicks, carve-outs, and penalties for various sectors of our economy that its impact will be far greater than the earlier Republican tax cuts of the 1980s and early 2000s. Those voting for it have given little thought to how it will affect many sectors of American life. This is exactly what its sponsors wanted. Scrutiny is this bill's greatest foe. Besides pumping up already dangerous levels of economic inequality, the bill will add at least $1 trillion, and probably much more, to the debt at a moment when adding to deficit serves no useful economic purpose. This in turn could lead to interest rate increases that will dampen whatever positive effects on the tax cuts in the bill, many of them temporary, will have on growth. It could undermine our system of higher education. What sense does it make to provide relief to heirs who did nothing to earn their inheritances other than be born while increasing taxes on graduate students whose incomes are already modest. By tearing away the deductibility of state income and sales taxes, this legislative concoction could either plunge some of our largest states, California, New York, and New Jersey among them, into fiscal crises, or force them to slash the help they give their lower income citizens. But these states are Democratic, so Republicans are happy to abuse their power to take a shot at their partisan opponents. And isn't it funny, as Alan Blinder, the former vice chairman of the Federal Reserve, pointed out in the Wall Street Journal, that so many of the provisions keeping intact egregious loopholes for real estate developers, generously treating pass-through income, killing the alternative minimum tax, and being kind to heirs, just happened to be particularly good for a certain president of the United States who claimed he was fighting for the little guy and for his family. You might find it entertaining that Republicans had to keep rewriting their bill right up to the very last minute as if they were college sophomores looking at a clock. But there is nothing funny about capricious legislating on an artificial deadline created solely to escape accountability. Anyone who votes for this bill is endorsing government for the few imposed by the reckless.
This is the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. When making your charitable donations, please keep in mind the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service. Our post office box number is 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call us at 910-672-1600 or our toll-free number 1-844-709-5656. Your radio hosts are
Tina Beatty
and Linda L. Miller. We are so proud to serve you today.
We are indeed. We've got 7 minutes or 6 minutes before 11 o'clock, so I'll do this article, then it'll be just about right for the obits.
Okay.
This is about Hope Mills. Hope Mills Town Board is sworn in. With a nod to past accomplishments and a look forward to the future, a new Hope Mills Town Board of Commissioners was sworn in Monday night. Mayor Jackie Warner took the oath for a fourth two-year term. Also taking the oath were returning Commissioners Jerry Legg and Pat Edwards, and newly elected Commissioners Mike Mitchell, Megan Larson, and Jessica Bellflowers. Mitchell, the highest vote getting among the 5 board candidates, was unanimously elected Mayor Pro Tem. He will assume the mayor's duties if Warner is not able to attend a meeting. Brian Marley, defeated in a re-election attempt, was honored for his service during his 2 terms on the board. Before the swearing-in, Warner touted the accomplishments of the outgoing board. The board has been depleted by death last December of Commissioner Edwin Deaver and the November death of Mayor Pro Tem Bob Gorman. Warner called them my right and left-hand men because they sat on either side of her at the commissioner's table. Warner cited the completion of the Hope Mills Lake Dam, economic development, work on a lake park, and a plan for the former Hope Mills Golf Club property, revitalization of Trade Street, town gateway signs, work on traffic problems, and other initiatives during the past several years. Really and truly, this board has accomplished a lot of things during the past 2 or 4 years, Warner said. Legg, the longest-serving board member, brought a picture of Gorman, to his swearing in. He said he looked forward to continuing work on projects that Gorman had been a part of. The next 2 years will be two of the best years Hope Mills has ever seen, Legg said. Marley thanked his family and Hope Mills citizens for voting for him to serve 4 years on the board. Marley noted that he had served the town for 20 years, first as a firefighter and then as a commissioner. The employees of this town are what makes the town go round, he said. We're just a cog in the wheel up here. Warner was sworn in by her son, Edward A. Warner. Bellflowers was sworn in by District Court Judge Lou Oliveira. Edwards was sworn in by interim town clerk Deborah Holland. Mitchell was sworn in by State Senator Wesley Meredith, and Larson and Legg was sworn in by Cumberland County Court Magistrate Francis Vernell Jackson. In some of the only action taken other than the swearing in, Town Manager Melissa Adams told the board that NC Dam Safety is expected to inspect the new dam by Christmas. Approval is required before the lake can be refilled. So we still got a couple of minutes, haven't we? Because she'll come in at 11, and if we do it before 11, we'll have to start over again at 11 o'clock. You can explain that to her. If we read them too early, then
we have to read them at 11,
and then we have to read them again. So I had to do that more than once.
Okay, it's okay. We're fine.
It'll be there in a minute.
It'll be there in 2 minutes. So let's
see. Let's see.
Let me see if you got a little tiny article.
I think I read all the little ones.
I don't know if the little ones are in here. Let's see, folks. We are looking for...
I put all the national ones in the back.
Here's one right here. It's a national one, but it's a small one.
Yeah, I put them in the back.
Okay, about a minute or so. Okay, and then probably pass this over to this teenager. Well, you can break it. We'll break it up a little bit. Okay.
You don't want me to read the whole thing till after?
It'll be fine.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Supreme Court allows travel ban. Washington. The Supreme Court on Monday allowed the Trump administration to fully enforce a ban on travel to the United States by residents of 6 mostly Muslim countries. This is not a final ruling on the travel ban. Challenges to the policy are winding through the federal courts, and the justices themselves ultimately are expected to rule on its legality. But the action indicates that the High Court might eventually approve the latest version of the ban announced by President Donald Trump in September. Lower courts have continued to find problems with the policy. Opponents of this and previous versions of the ban say they show a bias against Muslims. They saw that was reinforced most recently by Trump's tweets of anti-Muslim videos. President Trump's anti-Muslim prejudice is no secret. He has repeatedly confirmed it, including just last week on Twitter. It's unfortunate that the full ban can move forward for now, but this order does not address the merits of our claims, said Omar Jawat, director of the American Civil Liberties Union Immigrants' Rights Project. The AC.
Having a perfect time. All right.
Okay. We'll go back to that in a minute, shall we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay, these are the death notices. The following deaths have been reported and will be in upcoming editions of the Fayetteville Observer. And here we go with Cumberland County. Ricky Smith, 52, of Fayetteville Colvin Funeral Home and Crematory. Edwin Clarence James Jr., 78, of Fayetteville Colvin Funeral Home and Crematory. Mattie R. Matthews, 88, of Fayetteville Colvin Funeral Home and Crematory. Maria Dimka Lewis, 79, of Fayetteville Colvin Funeral Home and Crematory. Elaine G. Cottle, 71, of Fayetteville, Sullivan's Highland Funeral Service and Crematory. Annie L. McKinnon, 70, of Fayetteville, Weissman Mortuary. And Linda B. Amos, 74, of Fayetteville, Weissman Mortuary. And on to the obituaries. From Fort Bragg, Jose Juan Melendez Jr., 31, of Fort Bragg, died Wednesday, November 29th. The funeral will be Friday at 8:30 a.m. at the Main Post Chapel, and visitation will be at Jernigan Warren Funeral Home on Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m., with burial in Sandhills State Veterans Cemetery, Jernigan Warren Funeral Home in charge of arrangements. From Fayetteville, Elbridge W. Jacobs, 73, of Fayetteville, died Friday, December 1st. Funeral Thursday, 1 p.m., East Side Church of God, 2217 Clinton Road, and that's in Fayetteville. Visitation will be at East Side Church of God on Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., and burial will be in Cumberland Memorial Gardens Cemetery, Rogers and Breese Funeral Home. That's who's in charge of all that. And then the next one is from Fayetteville, Ruth Elva Morris, 89, of Fayetteville, died Monday, December 4th. The funeral is Thursday at 11 a.m., Christ United Methodist Church. Viewing is Reeves Funeral Home on Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m., and burial is Lafayette Memorial Park, Ramsey Street. Reeves Funeral Home of Hope Mills in charge of arrangements. From Fayetteville, Ella Louise Kelly, 84, went home to be with her Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, on Thursday, November the 30th. She was a devoted wife and mother, a loving grandmother and great-grandmother, a great-great-grandmother, and a faithful friend to many. Let's see, she has a very long obituary. A visitation will take place at St. Patrick Catholic Church on Thursday, December the 7th, from 11:45 to 11:45 a.m. to 12:45 p.m., with the funeral mass starting at 1 p.m., followed by interment at Lafayette Memorial Gardens. The family requests that donations be made to Cape Fear Valley Health Foundation, P.O. Box 87526, Fayetteville 28304. Services entrusted to Rogers and Breese Funeral Home. Okay, Fayetteville, Kenneth Aubrey Smith, 59, of Fayetteville, died Saturday, December the 2nd. No services are planned, and Rogers and Breese is in charge of all arrangements. And from Fayetteville, Mrs. Sally E. Jones Reed, age 85, of 2029 Newark Street, Fayetteville, departed this life on Wednesday, November the 29th. Funeral services will be held Thursday, December the 7th, at 12 noon in the Wiseman Mortuary Chapel. Burial will be in Sandhills State Veterans Cemetery, and there will be a viewing on Thursday, December 7th, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon at the funeral home, which is, am I still looking? Weissman Mortuary. Okay, I want to make sure we had it straight. From Fayetteville, Mary Lutz Johansson, 60, of Fayetteville, Yes, she did. She died Thursday, November 23rd, and her graveside service will be Tuesday at noon at Sandhill State Veterans Cemetery, and Sullivan's Highland Funeral Service and Crematory in charge of arrangements. And the last one from Fayetteville, and I'm going to pass this over, is Gisela Ella Holbert, 82, of Fayetteville. He died Thursday, November 27th. There will be a graveside service Friday at 11 a.m. Main Post Cemetery, Fort Bragg. Sullivan's Highland Funeral Service and Crematory.
Okay. Billy Graham has somebody.
Here, sweetie, you have to finish the obits. There's so many of them. We cut them in half. So you do region and elsewhere, which is just 2 little columns there.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Well, that's all right. Put me to work.
Then you can do Billy.
Region and elsewhere. Melissa Neighbors Langley, Fort Myers, Florida. Melissa Langley, known as Missa to so many, passed away on November 26, 2017 at the age of 56 years after a bravely fought battle with cancer. A celebration of Melissa's life will be held from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday, December 9th at the Butler Funeral Home, 6535 Clinton Road, Stedman, North Carolina, 28391. Memorial donations in memory of Melissa can be made to Development Office, Hope Hospice, 9470 Health Park Circle, Fort Myers, Florida, 33908, or Moffitt Cancer Center, Tampa, Florida. Tessa L. Maxwell, Rahway, New Jersey. Tessa L. Maxwell, 78, of Rahway, New Jersey, formerly of Clinton, died Thursday, November 30th, 2017. Funeral Thursday, 2 p.m. Andrews Chapel, Baptist Church, Clinton. Burial Church Cemetery. Somerville, Boykin Mortuary in Garland. Al Griffin, Mamers, Alabama. Griffin, 70, of Mamers, died Friday, December 1, 2017. Gravesite, Thursday, 3 p.m., Antioch Baptist Church Cemetery in Mamers. O'Quinn Pebbles Phillips Funeral Home and Crematory in Lillington. Let's see. Jenny Lewis
It's
Leach.
just the last one. That shouldn't be too many now.
Oh, okay.
What's the last column?
Okay. Rayford. Jenny Louise Leach, 57, of Rayford, died Wednesday, November 29, 2017. Funeral Wednesday, 1 p.m. Rockfish Grove, Free Will Baptist Church, Rayford. Visitation. Dobie Funeral Home, Tuesday, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Burial, Laurel Hill Missionary Baptist Church Cemetery, Lumber Bridge. Dobie Funeral Home. Versie Hester Hickman, Bladenboro. Versie Hester Hickman, 103,
Whoa.
of Bladenboro. Wonderful years. Died
Wow.
Sunday, December 3rd, 2017. Funeral Tuesday, 3 p.m. Hickory Grove Baptist Church, Bladenboro. Visitation at the church, Tuesday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Burial will be at Hickory Grove Baptist Church Cemetery, Richard Bowles Funeral Home. Bonnie Snow Blemmer, Sanford. Bonnie Snow Blemmer, 66, of Sanford, died Monday, December 4th, 2017. Funeral Thursday, 1 p.m. Central Baptist Church, Spring Lake. Burial Riverview Memorial Gardens, Spring Lake. Addock Funeral Home and Crematory. And our last one, Ruby Graham Sitterberry, Regalwood. Ruby Graham Sitterberry of Regalwood died Friday, December 1st, 2017. Funeral service will be held Wednesday, 1 p.m. Tabernacle Holiness Church, Regalwood. Burial. Long Island National Cemetery, Smith Funeral Home, Whitefield. Now let me resume. Supreme Court allows travel ban.
You gotta do Billy Graham now. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
We'll get this sorted. I should have told her that before. Gotta do Billy next. People like to have the comfort of him.
Oh, okay. Billy Graham has some advice on alternatives for loved ones who don't want Christmas gifts.
Oh, okay, that's
The
good.
question: our children and grandchildren keep asking us what we'd like for Christmas, but we honestly don't need anything at this stage of
The
life.
truth.
We don't want to think we're ungrateful, but how can we tell them we don't want any gifts? The answer: admittedly, people sometimes give gifts only out of obligation. They do it because they think they have to. When Jacob was about to meet his estranged brother Esau, he sent lavish gifts ahead. He thought, I will pacify him with these gifts I am sending. And that comes from Genesis 32:20. But we also give gifts because we love and respect someone. And that's certainly the case with your children and grandchildren. In other words, they genuinely want to give you something that will express their love for you. This is why I hope you won't deny them the pleasure by telling them you don't want any gifts from them. I understand your problem. However, so let me make a few suggestions. First, if your grandchildren are young, you might suggest that you'd love to get something that they've made, perhaps in class. Second, instead of something you know you'll never use, you might suggest they join to give you a flower arrangement or plant, such as a colorful poinsettia, to brighten your home at Christmas. But I also hope you'll consider suggesting something else, a gift to an organization or charity that needs your support. That's a wonderful idea. No, you may not need anything, but countless people do, and a Christmas gift in your honor could be of great help to them. Remember Jesus' words, it is more blessed to give than to receive. Ask God to make you a blessing and encouragement to your children and grandchildren this Christmas. May they always remember your love for them, and most of all, your love for Christ. Readers can write to Reverend Billy Graham at the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, 1 Billy Graham Parkway, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28201, or call 877-2-GRAHAM, Graham. The website for the Billy Graham Evangelist Association is at billygraham.org, small letters.
That's a great idea. We have been for several years now. My oldest son and daughter-in-law who live in Myrtle Beach. We donate to a dog rescue organization down there in their name. That's their Christmas gift, because they have a dog that they rescued from that organization. And they give to Operation Inasmuch in our name. So we think that works well, because someone else benefits.
And that's a teaching tool for your children, too.
Yeah.
They learn how to share and consider the idea that someone else exists besides them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Here is Dear Abby today. Dear Abby, my husband and I argue more than I'd like. I am pretty easygoing and passive. He likes his feelings to be known. Over time I have become worn down and my patience has worn thin. We are starting to rebound from what I call the year from hell. His drinking and poor choices nearly put us on the street, and I was ready to walk. Things are starting to get better, but what we can't seem to agree on is communication during the day. Abby, I am on the phone for a living. I cannot stand being on it more than I must be. He calls and or texts me up to 12 times a day. I can't stand it. Even when I'm busy or giving him a certain time when I'll call him back, he beeps in before I have the chance. I am now at the end of my rope. With all that I have dealt with, worked through, and put up with, this is something I will not compromise on. I feel it's more than sufficient to talk on my way into work, maybe check in around lunch, then on the way home. He feels that because I don't feel the need to call or talk that much that I don't love him. I can't stand listening to the dead air or breathing because there is nothing to talk about. I am being petty. Am I being petty for letting this be the thing that will break us? And it's signed Talks Too Much in Texas. Here's the answer. Dear Talks Too Much, if you want to save your marriage after everything you have been through, make the time for marriage counseling. What may destroy your marriage isn't your husband's talking, it's his neediness, insecurity, and insensitivity. Frankly, what you have described strikes me as controlling rather than loving behavior. After the struggles you have described, you have already proven your love for him. Being at his beck and call during the workday should not be an additional requirement. And this is another letter here. Dear Abby, my sister-in-law is extremely allergic to cats. We have 6 cats, but live 1,000 miles away from her. When her 8-year-old son comes to visit, he has a Ziploc bag full of clean clothes that he puts on before he goes home. The clothes he wore here are sealed up at the end of his trip to be washed. I'm okay with this, but I need some advice for an upcoming big holiday gathering, big family holiday gathering. We have all been courteously asked to wash our clothes before coming, to vacuum our vehicles, and to limit our contact with cats before arriving. Am I wrong to feel like it's her problem, not ours? And it's signed, whose problem is it? And Abby says, Dear, whose problem? Yes, you are wrong. When a family member has a health problem that can be triggered by others, it becomes everyone's problem. If the steps needed to keep her safe are too much for you, you should stay home. Dear Abby, is it cheating to proofread your college-aged child's final before he or she turns it in? Wondering in Orange, California. Dear Wondering, to read it? No. To correct it? Yes.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay, horoscope. Let's see what's going to happen.
Yeah, we've got our person here today. Virginia Share. This is going to be your personal horoscope, isn't it? Because that's her birthday today.
Yes, okay. If you were born today, you are likely to stir things up wherever you go.
Ooh!
For you have been endowed with such a lively and colorful personality that all heads are sure to turn. Excuse me, whenever you enter the room. Sagittarius, November 22nd to December 21st. You may find yourself looking for something you haven't thought about in quite some time. Where has it gone? Capricorn, December 22nd, January 19th. You can add something to a routine activity that ups the ante and makes it possible for you and a friend to have much more fun. Aquarius, January 20th to February 18th. The question of size is likely to arise today. At some point, you must be willing to accept less than you had hoped for. Pisces, February 19th to March 20th. It's time for you to put your money where your mouth is, as a rival has pressed forward and threatens to show you up in a significant way. Aries, March 21st to April 19th. You will want to take a little extra time today to prepare for something that is on the docket for tomorrow. You can't simply improvise. Taurus, April 20th to May 20th. Now is no time to share your frustrations with a loved one, as he or she has enough to worry about right now. Collect yourself. Remain calm. Gemini, May 21st, June 20th. Something that seems inordinarily difficult is likely to prove quite manageable today once you examine each component closely. Cancer, June 21st to July 22nd. You are once more waiting for the sort of information that has been slow in coming in the past, but today it may come to you rather quickly. Leo, July 23rd, August 22nd. You mustn't sabotage efforts today simply because you're frustrated about peripheral issues. Stay focused on the central concern. Virgo, this is mine. August 23rd, September 22nd. You can make adjustments today that benefit others as well as yourself. During evening hours, you can show someone exactly how you feel. Libra, September 23rd, October 22nd. You may take longer today to do something routine simply because you are not feeling quite up to par. Is this a physical or emotional issue? Scorpio, October 23rd, November 21st. You'll know when it's time to get moving. And when it does, you'll have little room to stop and think. Prepare yourself in advance. That's a good one for everybody.
Okay, here's a nice story from locally here. She gets a bouquet of birthday flowers every year from her dad, who died 4 years ago. And there's a picture here of Bailey Sellers is shown with her father, Michael Sellers. A bouquet of red and purple flowers sat on the front porch when Bailey Sellers got home from lunch with friends. With it was a note. You will be receiving this until your 21st. Love, Dad. Sellers had just turned 17. Then came pink flowers for her 18th birthday, red for her 19th, and white for her 20th, and finally different shades of purple for her 21st. Purple is the color symbolizing awareness for pancreatic cancer, the illness that killed Michael Sellers on August the 25th, 2013, 3 months before his daughter's 17th birthday. Well, Michael Sellers had planned ahead, pre-ordering different arrangements from a local flower shop in Maryville, Tennessee, for his youngest daughter's birthday until she turned 21. He wrote different notes for each arrangement. He wanted to make sure that she knew that she was loved and that he would be there throughout every milestone, his widow, Christy Sellers, told the Washington Post. He wanted to make sure that she understood that he was there. Bailey Sellers celebrated her 21st birthday last month. With the bouquet was a card decorated with colorful butterflies, a bittersweet and final goodbye from her father to his most precious jewel. This is my last love letter to you until we meet again. I do not want you to shed another tear for me, my baby girl, for I am in a better place. I will still be with you through every milestone. Just look around and there I will be, he wrote to her one last time. As she's done in the past, Bailey Sellers shared a picture of the bouquet on social media. She also posted the note and a photo of her in a bathing suit sitting on her father's shoulder. This year I expected 10 likes, just like I did every year, she told the Post. To her surprise, her story resonated with hundreds of thousands on social media. I woke up one morning with my phone completely frozen, she said. It's crazy. I have no idea. I have no idea how it went viral. Michael Sellers had 2 other children from a previous marriage, a son and a daughter. He gained a stepdaughter when he married Christy in 1994. Bailey Sellers, born 2 years later, was their only child together and the youngest of the 4 children. He loved all of them, Christy Sellers said, but she was the baby. Bailey and her father bonded over sports. He coached her basketball team when she was 4 to when she was 15. They often practiced at the gym or in the driveway of their home in Maryville, just outside of Knoxville, Tennessee, Christy Sellers said. They just literally could not spend a day without one another, she said. In summer 2012, Bailey's basketball team won the national championship. She said she remembers seeing her father jumping in excitement after her teammate shot the winning basket. It was the cutest thing I've ever seen from an old man, she said. He screamed and ran to the center of everybody and picked me up. Something unusual happened to Michael Sellers later that year. He slept all day on Christmas Day, something he'd never done during his favorite holiday. Bailey Sellers said his stomach hurt so badly that he just tried to sleep the pain away. Oh my. Michael Sellers was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer in early 2013. Doctors told him he had only 2 weeks to live, but he could prolong his life by a month with chemotherapy. He opted not to have the treatment and lived for another 6 months. Bailey still vividly remembers the day her father died. Michael Sellers had been in a coma for 2 weeks. His wife was sitting beside him on the bed, talking to him. "It's okay, it's okay," Bailey Sellers recalled her mother telling her father. Then her mother asked him if he was sad because of Bailey. Bailey Sellers said she watched in awe as her unconscious father shook his head. A tear dropped from his closed eyes and down his cheek. Michael Sellers died that night. A month before he died, he asked his family to buy handkerchiefs and to have them embroidered. Alone in his bedroom, he prayed over every single one of them and later gave one to each of his 3 daughters. He asked them to tie the handkerchiefs to the wedding bouquet they would one day carry as they walked down the aisle. Kelly Sellers said, "He was just an amazing father, an amazing partner, and he supported his family through all the bad times." One of those bad times involved Bailey. When she was 12, she was diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a genetic disorder that affects connective tissues, mainly the skin, joints, and blood vessels. Sellers said her body is in constant pain, and the joints in her hip, shoulders, and knees dislocate at least once a day. My goodness. "I'd pretty much lived in a hospital my entire life," she said. One of the worst hospital visits was after a kidney failure. Doctors sent her to a hospital in Cincinnati. The surgery, only she and her mother made the 200-mile drive because her father was unable to get time off work. Lying groggily in a hospital bed after hours-long surgery, she saw her father carrying a bouquet of flowers. "You didn't expect me to miss this, did you?" she said, recalling her father's words. Bailey Sellers is now a junior at East Tennessee State University, where she's studying psychology. After her father died, she had her right wrist tattooed with one of the notes he'd written to her, inked on her skin to resemble his handwriting. "I will be watching over you from heaven."
You never know someone else's story.
Wow.
Yeah. That says a lot.
Yeah.
Says a lot. This is the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We broadcast from the Fayetteville State University campus, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. When making your charitable donations, please keep in mind the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service. Our post office box number is 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call us at 910-672-1600 or our toll-free number 1-844-709-5656. Your radio hosts are
Tina Beatty
and Linda L. Miller. We are so proud to serve you today.
Okay, what we got? Anything? Did you want to finish that one you started?
Yes. Supreme Court allows travel ban. The Supreme Court on Monday allowed the Trump, forgive me, allowed the Trump administration to...
Was that a Freudian slip?
Exactly. Allow the Trump administration to fully enforce a ban on travel to the United States by residents of 6 mostly Muslim countries. This is not a final ruling on the travel ban. Challenges to the policy are winding through the federal courts, and the justices themselves ultimately are expected to rule on its legitimacy. But the action indicates that the High Court might eventually approve the latest version of the ban announced by President Donald Trump in September. Lower courts have continued to find problems with the policy. Opponents of this and previous versions of the ban say they show a bias against Muslims. They say that was reinforced most recently by Trump's tweets of anti-Muslim videos. President Trump's anti-Muslim prejudice is no secret. He has repeatedly confirmed it, including just last week on Twitter. It's unfortunate that the full ban can move forward for now, but this order does not address the merits of our claims, said Omar Jawad, director of the American Civil Liberties Union's Immigrants' Right Project. The ACLU is representing some opponents of the ban. Just 2 justices, Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Sonia Sotomayor, noted that their disagreement with court orders. The new policy is not expected to cause the chaos that ensued at airports when Trump rolled out his first ban without warning in January. The ban applies to travelers from Chad, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen. Lower courts had said people from those nations with a claim of a bona fide relationship with someone in the United States could not be kept out of the country. Grandparents, cousins, and other relatives were among those courts said could not be excluded. The courts were borrowing language the Supreme Court itself came up with last summer to allow partial enforcement of an earlier version of the ban. Now, those relationships will no longer provide a blanket exemption from the ban, although visa officials can make exceptions on a case-by-case basis.
Here's something from Lillington. A Spring Lake man was killed and a Fayetteville woman injured Sunday in a single vehicle crash on Nursery Road in Harnett County, the North Carolina Highway Patrol said. The wreck happened at 9:07 p.m., less than a mile north of Overhills Road and about 14 miles west of Lillington, according to a report filed by Trooper R.M. Lee. Harrison Alexander Willingham, 21, of the 200 block of Valley Stream Road, driving a 2000 Volkswagen, was traveling south at a high rate of speed when he lost control of the vehicle and it crossed the center line. Willingham pulled the car back into the lane, but it ran off the right side of the road and hit several trees. Willingham was pronounced dead at the scene. His passenger, Adriana de Jesus Garrido Guevara, 36, of the 800 block of Southview Circle, was taken to Cape Fear Valley Medical Center with injuries that were not life-threatening, the report said. Willingham was traveling about 80 miles per hour in the 55 mile per hour speed zone, the report said.
Do we have any ads today?
Do I have what?
Do you have any ads today, coupons?
No. The Wednesdays is when they read the grocery stuff.
Okay.
not any other day. So
Okay. Thought we might have had some specials.
no. I used to read on Wednesdays, and that was interesting because you looked at all those ads and you tried to decide what you should read. Because if you'd have read every single item, that's all you would have got done. You know.
Okay. Bush says Trump Access Hollywood tape is real. Billy Bush said it was indeed Donald Trump's voice captured on a 2005 Access Hollywood tape talking about fame enabling him to grope and try to have sex with women. Of course he said it, the former Access Hollywood said. Today, show personality said in an op-ed published Sunday in the New York Times. The video shows Trump, who was the star of The Apprentice, riding on an Access Hollywood bus with then-host Bush. At one point, Trump describes as trying to have sex with a married woman. He also brags about women letting him kiss and grab them because he is famous. When you're a star, they let you do it, Trump says. You can do anything. Along with Donald Trump and me, there were 7 other guys present on the bus at the time, and every single one of us assumed we were listening to a crass stand-up act. He was performing. Surely, we thought none of this was real. We now know better, Bush said in the op-ed. The recording of the lewd conversation between Bush and Trump emerged during the 2016 presidential campaign. Trump later said he never did any of the actions described on the tape and dismissed his words as locker room talk. In the waning days of the presidential election, more than a dozen women came forward to say that Trump had sexually assaulted or harassed them over the years. He denied it. But Bush said he believes the women, and he felt the need to write the piece following reports that Trump had privately suggested that the Access Hollywood tape was not authentic. I can only imagine how it was reopened the wounds of the women who came forward with their stories about him and did not receive enough attention, Bush said. This country is currently trying to reconcile itself to years of power abuse and sexual misconduct. Its leader is wantonly poking the bear. Bush, who had recently been hired as co-host of the Today Show, lost his job following the release of the tape. He said he has since gone through a lot of soul searching.
There's a lot of soul-searching people around who've lost their jobs.
I'm telling you, a whole lot.
Oh dear. I kept looking at this one. This is the letter to the editors today, and I read it to myself, and I thought, well, this is way duller and more complicated than any of those editorials I read you. You might want to sit down and put your feet up. Don't repeal net neutrality. First of all, I said to myself, what is net neutrality? New data suggests massive malfeasance. This is the letter, by the way. In spring 2017, FCC commenting process. A third-party analysis, more than 1 million pro-repeal net neutrality comments were likely faked. That in parentheses indicates that more than 1.3 million comments were likely spammed in favor of neutrality repeal. Once those comments were identified and removed from the cumulative data set, 99% of comments of a representative sample of 1,000 showed support for existing net neutrality rules. Well, have you got anything yet? I haven't. The FCC has not cooperated with New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman's investigation into identity theft during the commenting process, despite more than 6 months of investigation and several attempts to contact high-ranking FCC officials, including FCC Chairman Ajit Pai himself, and in parentheses it says New York AG probing massive scheme to influence FCC with fake net neutrality comments, several thousand Americans may have had their identities stolen and fraudulently used to post false comments supporting the net neutrality repeal. This is obscene. The FCC chairman is ignoring Americans' desire to retain existing net neutrality rules. He is intentionally and willfully impeding a state-level investigation affecting thousands. This is an attempt to subvert the will of the country in favor of a few corporations. This is a level of criminality and corruption I expect in a corporate oligarchy, not from an allegedly democratic republic. The will of the people is overwhelmingly clear. Do not repeal net neutrality. Who does our government serve? Everyday Americans or wealthy corporations? And that letter was from Michael Minnick in Fayetteville.
This is interesting. Ice baths and M&M's. Secrets of the Rockettes revealed.
Ooh, the Rockettes. I'd love to see them.
I know. One of the biggest draws in New York this time of year is the Christmas Spectacular featuring the iconic Rockettes at Radio City Music Hall. Everyone knows about their high kicks, but do you know how many calories each burns? What do they snack on? What's the best place to be in their famous kick line? I'd be on the floor. Two veterans, Bailey Callahan of Melbourne, Florida, and Elisa Laverne of Houston, reveal all of the backstage secrets. By the numbers, there are 80 Rockettes split into 2 teams of 36 dancers and 4 standbys. The 36 women can fit shoulder to shoulder along the 66-foot, 20-meter stage. They perform 8 dance numbers per show, up to 4 shows daily. My goodness. 200 shows a season. The show produces 350 laundry loads weekly. Whoa. I don't do that laundry. Height and calories. Rockettes must stand between 5 foot 6 inches and 5 foot 10 and a half. Roughly 1.7 to 1.8 meters. And be proficient at tap, jazz, and ballet. Candidates must be ready to do 300 high kicks shows. One Rockette used a fitness tracker and discovered that she burned 1,000 calories every show.
Whoa. Ooh. Guess you can eat what you want then, huh?
Mm-hmm. When we do 4 shows a day, that's a lot of pizza that we get to eat, says Callahan. Where are they from? Rockettes this year come from 27 states, plus Canada and Australia. New Jersey sent the most dancers, 12. Ohio is next with 6. Pennsylvania, Florida, and California each have 5. Michigan, New York, and Arizona, 4 each. Maryland, 3. Georgia, North Carolina, Indiana, Connecticut, Texas, Nebraska, and Virginia, 2 each. At least North Carolina got 2 in there. Louisiana, Rhode Island, Kentucky, Washington, Kansas, Wisconsin, Alabama, North Carolina, Utah, Illinois, and New Hampshire, 1 each. 2 come from Australia, 5 from Canada. How do they look the same height if they're not? Heels or optical illusion. The way we line up is we put the tallest girls in the center and gradually go down to the shorter girls on the end, says Laverne. There's a bit of an illusion, but it's actually really simple. The costumes are made proportionately, helping the illusion. During high kicks, how tightly do they hold each other? Prepare to be astonished. We actually don't touch each other. Wow, says Laverne. The dancers just lightly brush the woman beside them with outstretched arms. They call it feeling the fabric. That ensures they're in line without pushing or leaning. It just looks like you're actually holding onto your neighbor, but we don't, says Laverne. Best place to be on the line. Doesn't matter whether you're on the line or the center, you're still kicking on your own, says Laverne. Each dancer relies on back muscles, core strength, and hamstrings, and quad power, not pushing off another dancer. Whether you're standing on 0 or 36, you're going through the exact same experience, says Callahan. Quickest costume change. They do a lot. Between the parade of the wooden soldiers and New York at Christmas, the Rockettes have just 78 seconds to change outfits.
Good grief.
That's quick. That means taking off socks, shoes, pants, jackets, gloves, cheeks and hats, and then putting on dresses, shoes, jackets, earrings, gloves, and new hats. Wait, what's that about cheeks? The Rockettes wear red cloth cheeks for Parade of the Wooden Soldiers.
Oh.
And ragdolls for rosy complexions.
Wow.
Getting a little word there. What do Rockettes eat? Everything. Catered foods include proteins, veggies, salads, carbs, desserts. Bottles of sports drink, Powerade are everywhere. In her dressing room, Laverne has chips, popcorn, yogurt, and apples. Callahan goes to snack is peanut butter and banana sandwich. She also has a stash of M&Ms. Before the curtain rises, they're on stage in reindeer costumes. The overture is playing and they're hidden by a curtain. Some stretch, some pray, some test their antler lights. Others do a clap routine, high fives, or dance with a friend. Callahan does 3 splits every time. Because it's so perfect and precise on stage once the curtain opens, says Laverne. To see everyone doing something different is hysterical. Staying healthy. Vitamins, water, rest, good nutrition, clean, well hand sanitizer. Laverne likes Emerge C packets. Callahan is partial to electrolyte tablets. Year-round, Callahan likes yoga, Pilates, and barber classes. Laverne leans toward boot camp, boxing, and interval training. Cool down like a rocket. Many dancers take an ice bath before heading home. Ooh. Callahan sits in a tub of 45-degree Fahrenheit.
I could not imagine.
Water to reduce inflammation. Is that tapping real or recorded? Oh, it's real. For the tap dancing numbers, ragdolls, and the 12 Days of Christmas, wireless microphones are hidden in the tap shoes arches. That's interesting. Most embarrassing moment. For Callahan, it was a 2013 fall on stage, opening night in the 12 Days of Christmas tap number. It felt like an eternity on the floor, but was probably 2 seconds. You had to keep smiling, keep going, pretend like nothing ever happened. Laverne recalled the time a fellow Rockette's shoe came off during a high kick and went sailing, luckily away from the audience. She kept going though. Santa picked up the shoe like nothing happened.
Whoa. Isn't that an interesting article, isn't
That
it?
is. I didn't know all of that.
I don't know what this is about Aetna. That's who I have my health insurance with. Aetna. Now, apparently CVS has bought out Aetna. I heard that on TV yesterday or something. Yeah. Oh, well, we shall see. I'll get some kind of letter, I suppose. And this is the angel tree family. Domithusa is trying hard to get her life back on track after experiencing some complications with her last pregnancy, she said. she had to drop out of her job as a transit driver for riders who have challenges using the bus system. I love helping people who are not able to help themselves, she said. A lot of clients, if you don't pick them up to take them to the grocery shopping or to a doctor's appointment, they'd never get out. I like giving back. Dormathusia, who is 36, has returned to work after being out for 6 months. I've been out for so long, I'm kind of behind, she said. Christmas is kind of a push. She's the single mother of 3 young children, including a 3-month-old son. Her eldest son, who is 8, likes spy stuff, investigating things, and reading. He's on a 7th grade reading level. My goodness, he's doing very well. He wears a child's large coat, 14 shirt and pants, and size 5 shoes. The middle child is a girl who is 4. She loves things like dolls. She wants a dollhouse. Her child sizes are medium coat, 8 pants, 10 to 12 shirts, and a size 1 in shoes. The 2 oldest, according to the Salvation Army, could use bed tents. What are those?
Was it FedEx?
Bed tents. As for the youngest, Dormathusia said he likes all the little things that make noise. The baby could use a walker. They'll be happy with whatever they get, she said. They're not picky. To adopt Dormathusia's family through the Salvation Army, call 910-483-8119 and ask for angel number SA164 or choose a family from the list below. Bring unwrapped gifts to the Salvation Army or the Angel Tree at Cross Creek Mall by Saturday. That's it. I read all these last week and it's sort of a repeat every day, so I think if we talk about the new person, that will give people something to think about. We got time for something before we have to do the TV.
Okay.
I'll get the TV schedule.
Trump offers full support, endorses Republican Moore. President Donald Trump formally endorsed embattled Republican Roy Moore in the Alabama Senate race on Monday, looking past sexual misconduct allegations against the GOP candidate to argue that Moore's vote is needed in Congress. Trump tweeted early Monday that Democrats' refusal to give even one vote for massive tax cuts is why we need Republican Roy Moore to win in Alabama. Something must be wrong with him having a time with his name. Trump also spoke with Moore by phone. White House spokesman Roger Trey said the two discussed the state of the Alabama Senate race and that the president endorsed Judge Moore's campaign. It was Trump's strongest show of support for Moore since allegations surfaced that the candidate had sexually assaulted teenage girls decades ago, including one who said he molested her when she was 14 and he was in his 30s. Many national Republicans have called on Moore to step aside in the wake of multiple sexual assault and harassment allegations. Shortly after Trump's tweet, Moore responded on Twitter, thankful for presidential Trump's support. The America First agenda will number magna. Can't wait to help him drain the swamp. Trump also had assailed Moore's Democratic rival, Doug Jones, tweeting that putting a Pelosi-Schumer liberal puppet Jones into office in Alabama would hurt our great Republican agenda of low on taxes, tough on crime, strong on military and borders, and so much more. Trump for weeks was silent after allegations against Moore surfaced, and the White House has said he had no plans to make campaign appearances before the December 12th election. But Trump in recent days has raised doubts about the allegations against Moore, and he has agreed to headline a campaign-style rally in Pensacola, Florida, less than 20 miles from the Alabama border. just 4 days from the Alabama election. And Trump tweeted of more on Monday. We need this vote on stopping crime, illegal immigration, border wall, military pro-life, VA, judges, Second Amendment, and more. No to Jones, a Pelosi, Schumer puppet.
Okay. We can go ahead and start the television schedule. Let's see. ABC tonight at 8 o'clock, The Middle. 8:30, Fresh Off the Boat, which it says is new. Blackish at 9, which is new. The Mayor at 9:30, which is new. And Kevin Probably Saves the World is new at 10. CBS, NCIS at 8 o'clock. Doesn't say it's new. SEAL Team, 9 o'clock. That's Bull, 10 o'clock. You know, it's really hard to know if some of these are new or not. The only thing you can do is tune in and see if you remember it. It's very annoying. Fox, Lethal Weapon at 8. The Mick at 9. Brooklyn Nine-Nine at 9:30, which has a little N in the box, so it's new apparently. And then News. And then NBC, The Voice at 8, that's new. Will and Grace 9, that's new. Superstore, that's new at 9:30. Chicago Med at 10 p.m., that's new. A&E, let's see. 8 o'clock, Who Killed Tupac? 9 o'clock, same. 10 o'clock, same. And 11 o'clock, same. And here's something for you to fill up your whole evening on AMC. It's a 4-star movie, which is the best they get. Starts at 8 o'clock. Guess what it is? It's The Godfather. 1972 drama with Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, and James Caan. We've all seen that movie more than once, but it's a pretty darn good, well-acted movie. And TBS, 8 o'clock, The Big Bang, and at 8:30, and at 9, and at 9:30. And at 10, Snoop Dogg, and at 10:30, Drop the Mic, whatever in the world that is. Turner Classic Movies, let's see, 8 o'clock, They Won't Forget, they have real old movies on here. A 1937 drama with Claude Rains. A northern teacher is tried for killing a southern pupil. And then at 9, I think that's 9, Love Finds Andy Hardy. Can you believe that? 1938, Louis Stone, Mickey Rooney, and Judy Garland. Put it at the bottom.
Okay. Time moves so quickly. This concludes our reading of the Fayetteville Observer. Your radio hosts have been
Tina Beatty
and Linda L. Miller. Please tune in at 1 p.m. You can hear an hour Paraglide. At 4 p.m. you can hear Off the Bookshelf. Additionally, you will hear a rebroadcast of today's Fayetteville Observer tonight at 9. We will now join the Raleigh Network for additional news of interest. Thank you so much for tuning us in. We've enjoyed being with you this morning. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Hope to see you next week on the radio.